1658. Oliver Cromwell, the man who had shattered monarchy, who had risen from simple gentleman farmer to ruler of England, was dying. His lungs were failing. His body was breaking. And with every cough, the Protectorate trembled. Without him, the system he built had no foundation. His son, Richard Cromwell, had neither his father's authority nor his fearsome military connections. Within months, the Protectorate began to crumble. England was at risk of civil war again. After Cromwell died, England entered its most unstable period since the Civil War. There was no king, no strong protector, no agreed parliament, just factions, generals, ambitions, and fear. People were exhausted from 20 years of war. They wanted stability. They wanted normal life back. And slowly, quietly, the word began spreading. Bring back the king. Charles, too, in exile. Charles II had spent years wandering across Europe, hiding, negotiating, surviving. From France to the Spanish Netherlands, he lived in borrowed rooms, wearing borrowed clothes, dependent on foreign courts. But exile shaped him into something new. A patient, charming, politically aware young leader. He learned when to speak, when to smile, and when to wait. In England, the army, once Cromwell's most loyal force, began splitting internally. General against general, faction against faction, ambition against ambition. No one trusted anyone. The same army that had created the Protectorate was now destroying it. It became clear only one figure could unify the nation again. The kingmaker from the north. General Monck. A silent, calculating, brilliant general stationed in Scotland. While England collapsed, he did the opposite. He observed, he waited, he planned. Monck had connections with both parliamentarians and royalists. He knew every weakness of both sides. When the moment was right, he marched his army from Scotland into England with one mission: restore stability. But how? Monck never spoke his plans out loud, not even to his officers. Parliament restored, then transformed. Monck forced the army factions to disband. He reopened Parliament. He restored the Long Parliament, then immediately pressured it to dissolve itself. This simple act opened the door for something no one expected: free elections. For the first time in decades, England could choose its leadership, and the people had decided what they wanted. The Declaration of Breda. Charles II sent a masterstroke of political brilliance from exile. The Declaration of Breda. In this document, he promised general pardon, property rights, protection, religious tolerance, no revenge for past civil war sides. It was everything the exhausted nation wanted. It made Charles II a symbol of peace, and it made the restoration possible. Parliament voted. The people cheered. The army stepped aside. England officially invited Charles II to return. After years of exile, the monarchy was reborn. Charles II's triumphal entry into London. May 29, 1660. London transformed into a festival. People packed the streets. Flowers were thrown from windows. Church bells rang across the city. Charles II rode through London on horseback.com, smiling. Graceful, the king the people wanted. Unlike his father, Charles II understood politics. He loved conversation. He loved art, music, science. Most importantly, he understood compromise, but the wounds of civil war still lingered. England had power struggles to navigate: Parliament, the monarchy, religion, economy. Yet for the first time in decades, the country had stability. The Restoration did not erase the past, it only covered the wounds. The Civil War's long-term consequences, political, religious, emotional, would shape British history for centuries. The monarchy returned, but it never again ruled with absolute power. England had changed forever. But as England celebrated the rebirth of its monarchy, a different story was quietly taking shape in the shadows. Charles II had returned, but he had no legitimate heir. A man raised in exile, a soldier with discipline, a Catholic in a fiercely Protestant kingdom. Respected by some, feared by many. He spoke little, but watched everything. And in Parliament, in taverns, in secret meeting rooms, one question began to haunt England. What happens when Charles II dies and James becomes king? This is not the end. Part 5, coming next. The Glorious Revolution, the Fall of a King, 1685 to 1702.
Subscribe, like, share. Thanks for watching.